I am here today with Danny Clarke, the Danny Clarke. Danny, thank you so much for coming on. We met very briefly in London at the London SaaSPRENEUR event two months ago, I think, roughly. And it was literally pretty much a hi, bye. And then we connected afterwards on social media, and I said, hey, would you like to come on and do this SaaS Dads thing that we're doing? So for people that don't know you, I guess if I can introduce you just a little bit anyway, is that you are one of, I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think it's like 35, 37 Diamond SaaSPRENEURs. Is that about right? Something like that?
Sounds about right. Don't have a clue, to be honest, but sounds about right.
Give or take, but about 35 Diamond SaaSPRENEURs. And a Diamond SaaSPRENEUR, if anyone's watching this who doesn't know, is a person who's got 1,000 plus sub-accounts with HighLevel. And given that there is, I mean, there's a community, the SaaS community or the HighLevel community now is 100,000 plus. Not all of those people are agencies and so forth, but 35 out of a pretty big number puts you at the, let's say, the higher echelon of the SaaSPRENEURs that we have in the HighLevel community. And we're just going to have a little chat today about the journey to get there, because it wasn't always 1,000. We all start at ground zero, and what that's like to build that business and the other things that you're doing now as well, while managing a family too, because you have a wife and 3 children, and now, as you've just mentioned, a small puppy that's keeping you awake at night.
Yeah, pain in the ass.
But for those people that don't know Danny Clarke, would you like to just tell our audience a little bit about Danny Clarke and what you've done and what you've built over the last few years, and what that journey, just very succinctly, has been like for you?
So I am a very curious person, and that's pretty much why I got into business, because I would see other people who were doing something that I thought was pretty cool, and I think to myself, well, a little bit of ego and pride as well back in the day. Well, I think I could do that too. And so that's kind of how I've done everything ever. And I was very fortunate in that my start into entrepreneurship was in the safety of being self-employed, selling insurance. And I got a wonderful sales training through a company called Combine Insurance Company of America, CICA, W. Clement Stone training. I'm talking kind of old school Dale Carnegie, like 1930s self-help type sales training. But that was a great start. And so it went from one thing to the next. We started in financial services, built a business there, turned into trying to figure out this online space. That turned into memberships, that turned into coaching programs, that turned into training. Kind of the claim to fame is we built a coaching business which grew to 130,000 customers across 76 countries, built a business membership to 12,500 people, all through a personal brand with basically me, my wife, and we had a couple of VAs that would help us. And learned a lot, mostly like what not to do, because we very much burnt ourselves out and did everything wrong. 2020, we decided to kind of start over. Rather than a personal brand, we moved into the company space, so we could have a sellable asset. And that's when we started the brand name of Easy Peasy Business. I spent 2 years religiously every single day trying to find out what the hell GHR was, because I knew it was out there, but it used to be a big secret back in the day. Like nobody would tell anyone what it was. And so we basically built Go HighLevel before we found Go HighLevel, knowing that we would at some point find Go HighLevel. So when we could sell it and we had access to this secret CRM white label system, which we didn't know was white label at the time, that we'd be able to do something with it. And then I found it on my son's birthday, October 19th in 2022. I thought, I can't launch this today because it's my son's birthday. Let's enjoy that. But we launched on October 20th. And, we did everything that you probably shouldn't have done when you started. A lot of things, what you was told to do, which we found out to not be the way that would work for us to do things. And really, we just kind of pieced together the frameworks and flywheels that we've discovered over the years that work when trying to grow something at a pretty decent scale. So rather than tens of people, kind of the multi-hundreds, thousands of people onboarding at speed, trying to collapse time to get to the same result, but at a quicker time scale. And, it just kind of work. It's one of those same things, whether it's a coaching business, membership, whatever it is, SaaS, they're all kind of the same thing. People are buying a result. They want something tangible. And, that's what we figured out. And so we're about close to 2 decades now into this online entrepreneur space. Plenty of highs, shit ton of lows. And I would say at this moment in time, whilst we're not starting over, we're definitely not starting over, but the same as everyone else, we've just stepped into a brand new world. Like everything that we've ever known is about to completely change with AI and all the advancements that are coming. So it's kind of renewed my passion a little bit to kind of get back into the trenches, learn everything and kind of start over almost. So fun, exciting times, lots of lessons learned, and absolutely love the SaaS model. Like it's, out of all the money we've earned, it's the easiest money we've earned compared to a lot of things we've done over the year. So super grateful to HighLevel for the past few years and what it's done for our family.
Yeah, and it's that residual. I talked about this with Johan from HighLevel, so we came on like the difference between being like a SaaSpreneur is that residual recurring income. But just take us back a step. You mentioned there your son, and you found JHL on your son's birthday. You're like, I'm not going to launch on my son's birthday. Because obviously that's important. That's a lot of what we're here to talk about today is like the priorities between and the balance between our businesses and our family. So it's great there that you're going, okay, well, it's my son's birthday, so I'm going to do it today. I launched it the next day. Take us back there a few years to when you did find that, and it was your son's birthday. Now, you have 3 children, correct?
That's right, yeah, girl, boy, girl, yeah.
Yeah, around about 14, 9 and 7?
14, 11 and 9.
14, 11, 9, okay, sorry, got that a little bit wrong. How old were they when you started in the SaaSpreneur journey? And then how did you, I guess, balance that? Because 3 kids is a lot. I've got 1. Like, I admire anyone who's still alive who's got 3 children, honestly.
I would, so when we launched the SaaS, at that point, we'd learned all the lessons with everything that we'd done before. And the best lesson was when we had our third, Madison, because when you have 2 children, you can kind of get away with blagging boundaries. You know, you can kind of get away with having the laptop on your lap whilst you're also watching a film with them, right? And kind of, you know, crunching through everything. As soon as you have a third, there's absolutely no chance. You cannot do it. It's impossible because it's just too loud. It's too noisy. We've got 3 kids. As soon as one of them goes somewhere, it doesn't matter which one, and we drop back down to 2, the house is silent. It's so quiet. 3, chaos all the time, every day, from as soon as they wake up to as soon as they go to bed. So you can't get away with it. And that was very good for me because I am somebody who will just work and work and work and work and work and work and work. And even with the best intentions of discipline and boundaries and not working and not, you know, whatever, like overcommitting myself, it was the blessing of a third child, which really forced me into the change. And it's like anything, when you're forced into change and then you kind of wear it for a little bit, well, it becomes a new identity. And then you go, I don't want to go back to that old way because now I can see, because there's distance between us, that wasn't the right thing for me, for my family, for, you know, my business. And then that brings in new lessons, right? And then you start to change it now. So operationally, we try to do this. Look, you know, it's not always perfect, but we try to work a 4-hour day. And it's 80-90% of the time that we achieve that. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the core work hours. Now, our business operationally has obviously a lot more hours that goes into it, but that's then supported by staff, AI, and everything else. But I found that's the sweet spot. And that's really the blessing of the third child was there is no, for me anyway, balance between the two. You're doing one thing or you're doing the other thing. The two things should never, ever, you know, coexist. And that's what works for us.
It's really interesting. This is something I want to kind of dig into a little bit with you here, because like I said, being, you know, one of 35-ish SaaSpreneurs, like you are in the elite of the elite, right? So it's really interesting, like, how do you manage to get there? What's that mindset and that balance and putting the lines in between? Because I was talking to Matt Dacino the other day, and we did this conversation with him. He's on one of our SaaS dads. He has 3 children, also slightly different age brackets, actually quite younger than yours. I think he's about 6, 4 and 18 months, something like that, or 7, 5 and 18 months, something around there, right? So what is it you think that you can manage, like, as a family, and that mindset to delineate and then separate everything, crunch it all down, focus, still manage to make results while balancing a family? How do you actually do that and compartmentalize everything and still have time for your family?
You have to very quickly accept that you're not in control of things. Because if you try to create perfection, then you're just setting yourself up for disappointment and frustration all the time. You are out of control. And so you need to learn to enjoy, not being in control. And you need to learn to be adaptable and to go with the flow. Now, of course, there are some parameters that you put in place, right? When I'm working, I'm working. When I'm not working, I'm not working. So there is some kind of basic parameters in place. But, you get one of the kids that keeps you up for 2-3 hours in the night, you're really tired the next day, it's going to have an impact. So this is where you have to go with the flow. So how do you minimize the impact? Because really, if we're trying to just focus on how do we achieve a successful business, then there is an optimal version of what that looks like. And an optimal version, which is dependent on you, who is potentially going to be impacted on a very semi-regular basis, is a business that's not going to be running optimally. So what are the choices? Well, you go, sorry, wife, I'm never ever being woken up by one of these screaming children. Well, maybe that works for some people. I mean, that's not the way that we chose, because I wanted to be a part of the kids' life, and my wife definitely does more than me, when it came to the children. But I didn't want to hand over responsibility, so I wanted to be present. So that didn't work as an option. The second is, well, you brute strength through. It's force, it's caffeine, spite, whatever else you need to do it, which plenty of that. But the third option is just realizing that, like when you're building a family, like you don't have to do these things on your own. And it is building a team of people around you. And again, it's that letting go of control of, well, I'm going to trust you to do your job really well. We're going to put everything in place so you can do that. And I'm going to build these systems and automations that are going to be helpful and assist our clients, which is going to assist me. I'm going to place my trust into this infrastructure and process. And that's really what allows you to be able to run the business without it actually requiring you. And I think that's the biggest shift, because a lot of people build their business based off their efforts and based off their strength and based off how they're feeling at a time. And no business in the world gives a shit about how somebody feels. Like it's too up and down. The only way that you create consistency is there needs to be that steadiness, that peace in the middle, and that peace actually turns into an up level over time, because there's no volatility to it. It becomes predictable. And for me, that's the one thing that we've been really good at over the years, is allowing other people to steer the ship and realizing that I'm not that smart, I'm not that important, I'm not that clever, I'm not that cool, I'm not that big. There's other people that can do this shit, and trusting them and it to do that.
Yeah, and the one thing I hope that people take from this, like whoever's listening to this, because I know there'll be a lot of people listening to this that are on their SaaS journey, and they're like, well, that's right for Danny. Like I said earlier, it's like, it's all right for Danny. He's got 1,000+ clients. That's fine. It's fine for him. It's that flexibility along the way, and managing the family life and the kids, the business, and not getting stuck in perfection, I think, in anything. All right, we'll talk about kids as well.
Yeah, you can't be perfect.
Can't be perfect. And if you're stressing about all that, you're stressing about the family, you're stressing about the business, like, then you're not present for any of it. And it's really important as a father, partner, family member, to everything as well, that just accept that, like, sometimes you're going to live in chaos, embrace the chaos, let it run with it, and tomorrow's another day kind of thing. Just go, look, hey, we're all still alive. We've got through the day. It's all good. Be grateful for that, because that's the one thing that I see as well with the different industry leaders I've been talking to through this, is that they just understand that tomorrow is another day. Today went 100%. Badly. Tomorrow's another day. And going to bed sleeping and stressing about it, this is so easy to say. It's like, try not to, because you'll just wake up tighter and worse off, and not be in a good place to support your partner, your kids, and come back to your business. And especially when you've got a team as well, because you've got to be there to work with and inspire your team and keep that running through them as well. So that flexibility piece is really, really important. When people can just sit back and not be attached to the to the outcome so much, even though we all want it. Doesn't mean don't just keep striving for it, but just kind of just sit back a little bit and just trust in the process of just one foot in front of the other all the time.
So I subscribe to the majority of what you say, but at the same time, I probably also could disagree with everything that you've just said. The reason being is it's so easy to kind of create this idea and this condition of like how you need to operationally be. You know, I need to inspire the team. No, you don't. I need to put one foot in the other. No, you don't. But these are things which we can hold on to as beliefs that this is how I need to show up. You know, and I think that is the biggest lesson that I've learned, is that I always thought that things had to happen because of who I was and how I was. And that would become a bottleneck to my success. Because if I wasn't the perfect person, if I wasn't getting up at 5 a.m., meditating, doing an ice bath, going to the gym, having 3 protein shakes, if I wasn't living the perfect life, leading by being inspirational, motivational, then how could other people follow me? Who gives a shit? No one cares. Like, nobody cares. The minimum that you have to be is not a dickhead. If you're a dickhead, then people will leave you and they'll go away. The rest of it, though, it's all pretense that we tell ourselves are conditions that we have to live our life by. And if we create these conditions, these are not conditions that other people are actually paying attention to. These are self-controlled conditions. Yeah, we're creating a finite reality that we're stuck into. If I have to be like this so these things can happen, which isn't true. There are so many terrible bosses in the world that still run really successful businesses. Now, I'm not suggesting you have to be a terrible boss. But what I am saying is you don't need to put the pressure on that you have to achieve and do and be these things. To be optimal is to understand what you are great at and what you are terrible at, and accept yourself for both. Now, ideally, you just do more of the good stuff that you're good at, and you find other people to do more of the bad stuff that you're not so good at. And that creates that really nice balance. But if you're forever trying to just self-improve, well, all you're doing is spending time doing something which doesn't need to be done. Because just accept yourself for what you are. This is who I am. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm really shit at. And that brutal honesty and transparency is what allows you to remove these unnecessary conditions that we apply to ourselves, which are then also unnecessary conditions that we apply to our business. Because actually all we're doing is we're saying, when I do this, then this can happen. That's not necessary. You know, there's all you need to do is you need to look at the stages of the people that walk across those SaaS stages, SaaSPRENEUR, Gold, Diamond, whatever, the people who are crushing it as affiliates. There is so much wrong with so many of those people. And I'm not saying that to hate on them. I've got loads of stuff that's wrong with me. There ain't anybody in this world that's perfect. There's plenty of people who have stuff that's wrong about them. Just don't let it get in the way. Whatever, it is what it is. Accept yourself for it, move on.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and I wasn't saying that you have to be perfect and be inspirational to your team every day and all that, but it's about being like the real you, because that's inspirational to people, and that's what I mean by that as well. Because like you can be inspirational to people by just showing up, and I mean, we both started this podcast and having a little chat beforehand, and we both said, God, I'm really tired at the moment. She's like, I'm really tired because I've got a new puppy. And I was like, well, I'm really tired because I didn't get enough sleep, and I was literally talking to our CTO today. I said, our first conversation of the day, which was the afternoon for me, I was like, mate, I'm really tired today. So I'm just telling him how it is, you know. But part of that, I guess, is like telling him, well, look, I am really tired, but hey, I am still showing up. I've still got to get this done and stuff to help him understand and go, well, look, you know, Gary's tired. He's still turning up. We've still got to get stuff done. But also letting people know, let your family know, like be true to all of them and all those things that you're saying there. Don't try and be. Yeah, I don't subscribe to that at all. Don't try and be a perfect human, because you ain't. Nobody is. But people relate to that, especially now. I talk about this a lot, like in the world of AI. You know, you've got all these AI avatars. I know you've done some fantastic ones of those. There are people that do those all the time, and they have beautiful avatars that are talking about them stuff, and works amazingly well. I think, and I don't know, but I think like that real human connection, people are going to strive for that more and more, especially more and more as AI becomes an invaluable part of a business. Like, it ain't going away. We're definitely going to have it, but being a real you and a real human is what people are going to connect with more and more, as well as part of your brand and stuff like that, if we're talking about that stuff. over
Yeah.
over the future.
I'm not sure about that, Like in an ideal world, I think
we disagree on everything, Danny.
Yeah, it's not that discreet. It's just like, if you ever watch films like Ready Player One or Wall-E, right? Yeah. And how they show the future, it's just people plugged in, and I look at my kids, like we're starting to let them have their phones. They are just plugged in. And them being plugged in doesn't make them go, oh, now I desire human interaction. If anything, it's I'm pissed off, you're taking this away from me. And I hope that it creates pockets of desire for human interaction. I hope. The pessimist in me, I don't know. Like I think once people are sucked in, they're sucked in. I think the evolution of like the AI twin thing and whatever, and people creating AI clones is, well, my kids have played Fortnite for the last 5, 6, 7 years, right? It's an AI avatar. And then you start buying skins and then you start dressing it. And then everyone's just plugged into the metaverse or whatever that will be. I don't know. I think community will come in a digital way, not in a real human way. Maybe. Don't know. Haven't figured it out. I worry how addictive all of this stuff is and how much better than it is than the shit show of our lives, that a lot of people will find it very difficult to want real human connection. Because I feel like the fake stuff will feel better.
You reckon the Matrix? The Matrix is where it's at.
Yes. Yeah. This is it.
So
yeah. I hope that's wrong.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Like I said, this is my opinion. I don't know. But tell me about this, Danny, because I'm interested in this as well as a dad who's got kids that are a bit older than me, and you just mentioned that, like them going down the tunnel of screens. So we've got a 7-year-old. We have self-imposed quite a lot of restrictions on him, like he has no iPad. He is not allowed to play with my phone at all. He has limited TV time on the weekends where we sit down as a family basically and watch movies together. We've really tried to keep him away from YouTube and that. There have been some digital babysitting moments. Not going to say there hasn't. What do you see with your kids and doing that? Like you said, you just got them into there. Well, they're just starting to go down there now. What's your opinion?
I don't know.
Like, especially working in the digital world of like digitizing your kids and bringing them into it.
I can argue both sides.
Yeah.
Having nothing, I think, is a really wonderful thing. And I think it can extend their childhood and it can protect them for a lot longer. But does that actually serve them long term? My daughter goes to secondary school already. Son's just about to. Do you want your kid to be the only kid that doesn't have a Snapchat? It's about, I suppose, I don't think it's a question about do they have their phone, do they not have their phone. I think it's a question about instilling in them the values and the confidence for them to be able to make an informed choice. And that's scary because I think that's quite a mature thing, and definitely not for 7-year-olds, right? Maybe, but this is the baby steps, right, for when they're older. My preference would be that they wouldn't have a phone. That would be my preference. But that is coming from, I don't even know where that comes from. Like that's just a core feeling in me, and that's not having figured about it. That's my starting point. They have one. So who knows? I think what's really important is, rather than taking the phone away from them, let's say, for example, we say, right, you cannot have a phone on a Sunday. For me, it's more about, well, what can we do? So, for example, we do this on a Saturday night. We call it special dinner. And so there's 5 of us in our family. And so we have 4 categories. We have starter, main, dessert, and a game, right? It might be playing on the Nintendo Switch or Monopoly or whatever. And then the 5th person, if they don't get picked, wherever they choose, they don't do the washing up, right? So that's the win for them. So we do this every Saturday. And so because it's such an enjoyed period of time together, nobody wants to be on their phone. So I think it's not about taking it away, but I think it's about creating moments and opportunities where there is that connection, and I think that's our responsibility to the parents, right? How can we bring everyone around the dinner table? How can we, especially for us, our kids are so sporty. We're literally out 7 days a week with sports. So there is no dinner time for us as a family, apart from Saturday night, sometimes Sunday. Monday to Friday, we've got no chance. We've tried to do it. There's literally not a single minute in an evening where all 5 of us are in the house at the same time. So we can't do it. So it's trying to create those moments, So it's difficult. I don't know. The world we're in, though, kind of lean towards, do I want my kid to be the kid that doesn't have it compared to everyone else? I don't know whether I would.
Yeah, because then they're going to have trouble at school as well. So we're going through that at the moment, because our son, like I said, he's 7, he's coming up for 8, and he is absolutely Minecraft crazy. I mean, he's got all the books on Minecraft. All the kids at school are on about Minecraft. We have another 7-year-old, exactly the same age as him, also called Finn, who lives next door, who has Minecraft. He has a Switch and he gets to play on his Switch. So our son likes to go over there and play on that. So he knows all about Minecraft. And then me and my wife kind of disagree on this, because she's adamant, like, definitely no Minecraft for him. He's absolutely adamant he wants Minecraft. I am torn, as in, I feel like maybe it's not a great idea to start getting him into screens at his age. But also, exactly like you said, and also just for the future, right? Because, like it or not, it's going to be a digital world. AI is coming in. Computers are here to stay, right? So do you want your kid to be the one that's behind and doesn't know how to do these things, doesn't know how to play on a game, gets teased at school because they're the person who's not on Minecraft and doesn't know how to play it? And it was there was a really interesting thing that me and my wife watched the other night. And it was like different families with different values and their approach to technology. So there was like the pro-tech family, and the dad worked in IT, something or other. The mum was a social content creator. And then the kids basically had full access to computers and everything. And they were online streaming. They were actually making money from streaming games and stuff. They were 11-ish, something like that, through to the family that they tried to keep them off, and it was like no computers at all. They were a sporty family, kept them outside, don't play on computers. And they did these tests with the kids. And from what they did, they set up an intentional thing where there was the one child from one family going in. They had a child in the game who was poor at the game, and then they had 2 bullies in the game. So the 2 bullies were picking on the child that was poor at the game, and they wanted to see what the child from the families would do about it, whether they would pick up on the bullying, step out of it, try to manage it. And it was really interesting to see, like, the pro-tech family, the kid from there, he was all over it. He was very controlled. He knew what was going on. He's like, you guys leave him alone. And he was very comfortable in that digital world. And then there was this sporty kid who basically didn't even really know how to use a computer. And he was very uncomfortable in the whole situation. He didn't know what to do. He did say, oh, why are you being mean, sort of thing. But he just kind of left the game because he didn't know how to play and he didn't know how to interact. So he was very uncomfortable in that situation. So what's the balance in between where you've got this pro-tech kid who was playing all the time, he's streaming, he's making money, which I was looking at going, well, that's great, it's entrepreneurial. Not that comfortable with a kid streaming at that age, probably having other people seeing them play and stuff like that, to a sporty kid who's outside all the time doing great things. I'm like, yep, fishing, running, playing sport, but has no idea how to interact on a computer at all. There's got to be a balance in between. And it's so hard when we have this conversation with different parents in our parent group, because we just don't know. And we've never grown up with this technology either at our ages. So it wasn't even around. So it's not like there's a path to follow. And what's the right thing? What's the wrong thing?
I mean, the thing is, though, the technology we've got now ain't even going to be the technology that it is in 5 years' time. So we haven't, and they haven't even grown up with it. Like it's all, who knows? Yeah, my wife and I was talking about school. What is the point of school? Because there's nothing that they're learning at this moment in time that they'll be actually using practically in 10, 15 years' time. Like everything that we know is completely changed. We've talked about this one. Like there used to be value in giving value. Value is pointless. Value is a commodity. It's nothing. It's absolutely worthless in today's current marketplace value. Now there's a lag, right? And there's still some people selling value. There's nothing to it. You know, all you do is you go to AI, you ask it the right question, you can learn it instantaneously, and it'll give you a personalized version of it rather than a generic version. So what's valuable? Speed, quick. That's really valuable. being a good signposter, telling people what to do and where to go. These are skills which are learned in a digital world. You know, it's if you could know, like, it's like reverse engineer, right? If you know in 20 years' time that everything's going to be digital, would you want your kids to be practicing an hour a day in a digital environment because school doesn't? Yeah, you probably would. You know, in the same way you want your kid to practice sport an hour a day because you want them to be fit and healthy when they're older. So if that's the way it's going to be, which I can't see being any other way, then it kind of makes sense that they should be gaming, they should be exposed to phones. You just have to be careful and protect them because we know that the brains aren't fully developed, you know. I question if mine's fully developed yet. I think it's deteriorating.
Peaked and just rapidly dropping off, mate. That's what I feel like. But yeah, I thought that because like ChatGPT literally pretty much launched when my son started school, like when he was 5, it was a couple of years ago, you know, with ChatGPT. And I was just like, he was starting school, and I thought exactly this when he started school. I was like, what's the point? Like, is he ever going to really write an essay or
to learn the same stuff
and research like
we learned?
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. I can't even. I don't even know where he's going to be when he's 10, and actually discovered that stuff is really there, because he knows a bit about ChatGPT now. Like, we sit down and we play with it, and most of the thing that we do is like he'll just describe a zombie diamond armored killing monster that he wants to appear, and we make images and stuff like that. He's fascinated by that. He thinks that's the most amazing thing in the world. Or he'll design his ultimate 4-wheel drive, and it's instantly done. You know, he's got this 8-seater 4-wheel drive with a barbecue in it and a swimming pool in the back and whatever, which is just amazing. Like, he doesn't need to sit there and draw for hours to design it. He can just think what it is, and then it comes to life. So
I think the really interesting thing is children, most of the time, are naturally very creative. Like, they are, their imagination. And slowly, bit by bit, the school system takes that out of them, and slowly, the job environment, you know, kicks that out of them. And so most people then are, they fit inside of a pre-made design of what an adult should be. You should be like this, you should do these things, you should have these things, you should live in these places, you should drive these things, and you should go to these places, and this is where you should have your enjoyment, and you shouldn't really be doing these things. And so we all become a slight variation of the same thing. AI is amazing, but it's only as good as the original idea that is given. Now, eventually you would imagine that AI would be able to create the ideas, but then I suppose it would be a case of, well, the marketplace will then decide if they like the ideas or not. But I think anybody that can find creative ideas has a competitive advantage in the new economy. Because if you can think, I don't know, let's say, for example, right, that viral Yeti vlog thing that went around, right?
I've been watching that, so much since you mentioned that at the SaaSPreneur. Like, you got me into that. Now I'm watching Yeti vlogs all the time.
If you've got the creative capacity to just think of weird and wonderful things, and then a vehicle like AI to then create those, I think it's almost like that's entertainment. You know, entertainment is now, it used to be you had to be on TV or you had to be in the movies. Now, anyone and everyone. You know, if you're a kid, there's a Way with the Fairies, right? Which in the old days, like, that would be a bad thing. Right now, that's, if anything, that's an advantage. This is what's so weird. Everything that it was, I believe now, is flipped on its head. You know, like, that used to be one offer, one product, one funnel, one audience, focus, don't get distracted, focus. I think now you need to diversify more than ever before. Like, it's gear fingers in all the pies, because you've got to be agile, you've got to adapt. You know, if anything, discipline and focus keeps you locked in and rigid. You're missing opportunities because they're presenting all the time. And it's, I don't know, it's a funny old world that we're stepping into. So what damage will it do to our kids? Who knows? But by the time they're 25, they'll probably just put a hard drive into their brains anyway. So who knows? That'll do more damage.
Yeah, we're going to have Elon Musk's Neuralink.
Yeah, Neuralink.
And away you go.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? We'll all be half machine, half whatever by then anyway. So
Does it make you worry for like your kids? Like, I mean, I don't mean worry like sleepless nights type of thing, but did it make you think? Well, I guess you've never had kids before either, the same as me. Your kids are your kids, so you've never trodden the path. But I think previously people had that path. It was quite easy in a way. It's like, okay, you're going to go to school, then you're going to pick some subjects, you're going to go to uni, and you're going to study at uni to become a lawyer, a doctor, or whatever that might be. You're going to find a path. Like literally, as I said, when my son started school, I looked at it and I was just like, I have no idea what he's going to do. I still don't.
No idea. It's probably not even been invented yet, the thing that he will do.
Yeah.
So how can you learn for that?
We've got to come back to that flexibility, right? Just to go, well, I can't worry about it too much. You just be like, who knows what's going to happen in a few years' time? It's crazy.
I always remember as a kid, my mum and dad used to often say, the only thing they want from me is they want me to be happy. They didn't care what I did. They didn't care how I did it. They didn't care who I did it with. They just want me to be happy. I mean, that in itself, there's a bit of a story. I mean, I struggled, I suppose, with happiness and kind of understanding what it was. And I almost did a tick box exercise for my life, got the job, got the car, got the house, and I still wasn't happy, what I thought happy was supposed to be. Happiness for me eventually turned into just acceptance. This is who I am, love me, hate me, got some good things, got some bad things about me, but, being comfortable in my own skin is happiness, really. And I think that's really all I want for my kids. I don't care if they have a big house. I don't care if they're entrepreneurial. I don't care if they have 1 kid, 3 kids, no kids. I don't care. None of it matters. No, that's unfair to say I don't care. Of course I care. I care for them. But whatever, I just want them to be able to understand and be brave enough for them to be able to vocalize and visualize and be strong and content enough to be able to step into what happiness looks like for them without judgment on themselves. And with being able to accept and tolerate judgment that other people have given them as they make those choices. Like that's the gift that I want to give them. Like this is how you keep nudging towards a bit of happiness. This is the direction. Not sure. Is this towards happiness or away from happiness? Keep going that direction then. Keep going that direction. And I don't think you can go far wrong. If you're happy, you can't go far wrong.
You think you mirror that well as parents, like you and your wife? I know if it's a bit too deep. Your wife works in the business too, doesn't she?
Yeah, a little bit. Not really.
Do you try and show that? Because we consciously try and make it's as part of parenting to. This goes back to, I'm not trying to say you sort of put that image on, but always thinking about like how do we interact around our son to show that we have a good caring relationship, me and my wife and stuff like that. Because neither of us came from that. Like my parents were divorced. My wife's parents might well have been, but they weren't. They definitely weren't happy. So we don't have those role models again for our son to really show him like this is what a happy, normal, functioning family looks like, so that he can actually come out of it and not have to go, all right, how do I have to build this? Because we had to build it, like for me and my wife, if this makes sense. It's kind of like we didn't have those role models coming out of it. And you have an idea of what you want, which is like, happy family, love your wife, she comes home from work, or you come home from work, or whatever you mean. It's like cuddle and kiss and all that. Reality is it's not always like that. We've been together for 20 plus years now. There's ups, there's downs, there's good times, there's bad times, but you always want to try and show that there's at least like a united front and make sure that your child, or child in our case, or children, feel that secure family environment. So they've got something. That's something that I think of as like, I don't know what his path is going to be in life, but at least hopefully he'll know what a secure family environment looks like, and he will want to try and build that rather than escape from it. I mean, that's what me and my wife kind of did. That's why we're in a different country. We ran up to try and figure it out.
I mean, so my mum and dad are still married. Be 40 years this year. My wife's mum and dad are still together. They're probably over 50 years now because they're a little bit older. So we both come very much from stable backgrounds. I have no siblings. My wife is one of 4 girls. 2 of her sisters of the 4, one is divorced, remarried. The other's going through divorce. So it's the first time that family's kind of been exposed to that sort of stuff. I came into marriage knowing that I'm never ever going to marry someone else. like that's just it. Like I don't know what that is. If it's a commitment, I don't know what the word would be, but just an acceptance of this is it. Now, with that, there comes the consequence of the times. My wife does my head in. She really does my head in. And I really do her head in.
Yeah. It's normal, right?
We royally wind each other up. Yeah. And there's plenty that we disagree on. But it depends on how you view things, right? Because if you go into this small micro lens, well, then you might go, well, is that teaching them happiness? Well, if you go the big macro lens, which is my viewpoint on it, well, actually, I think there's a lot of happiness in working through things and sticking together. Because I think for me, that is stability. And I think stability allows you to go out and explore and come back, and allows you to figure something out and come back. And there's like a base to you. It's very difficult in life to create a base as an individual, as an island. You know, stability comes from your close family, your close community, your online digital community these cases, and you want these things to be stable. And I think that allows for you to figure things out for yourself. So, in answer to your question, do I wish that we were able to provide a more united front? 100%. Like, that's something that we actively work, together. Right? How can we be better at this? Because we do have different opinions on things, so you have to kind of navigate it and try and work that out. Do I think that our children are part of a really happy, loving family unit? 1,000,000%. I would say most of the time everything's done with love. There's definitely a little bit of spite. Sometimes we've been married for, oh my God, how long have we been married? 10 years. So
10 years, yeah.
There's definitely some spite and frustration in there sometimes, but it's, I think when it comes to our children, so, my eldest Sienna, so she has a boyfriend, and she's just, to say she's playing with this, it's a first boyfriend, right? So figuring it out. Son Austin, he has a girlfriend as well. He's just stepping into secondary school. He's definitely playing at it, right? He's figuring it out. They went to the cinema together for the first time, and they're not holding hands or anything. It's very innocent and sweet and whatever. But they just give opportunities to help themselves to figure out what should this look like when they are in an environment which is a relationship, and what do you want for them to be? It's all right just helping them to navigate it, right? It's that character, it's that happiness piece, I suppose it comes back to. So they're important values to me, so I try to instill those into my kids. So
yeah, because it's never going to be fully smooth. Like say, me and my wife, we are so different, like so different, and she does my head in at times. But honestly, part of that, I do look at it from the point of view, I'm trying to step out and go, fucking, why does she do it that way? It just drives me crazy. But then you think that opposite person is so important to give you another perspective.
There's something about that. I can't remember what the saying is, but there's something about the person that you marry is the person that will highlight the worst things about yourself. There's normally something about yourself where you go, so it's all growth, isn't it? It's all acceptance and figuring it out. And, my wife is very much of the same opinion. I know it doesn't matter how much of a prat I am, she's there. And there's a loyalty, and there's a no matter what. And from that gives a freedom to be able to communicate, you're annoying me today. If you're tiptoeing and on eggshells, you don't have those honest conversations because you daren't say what should be said. And I think, we should all be in a world where we're able to not just freely express ourselves. I mean, I do believe in freedom of speech, I suppose, but to know that you can speak in a space which feels safe enough for you to be able to explain how you're feeling. We're probably we're in a bit deep.
That's good though. No, but this is important stuff, right? Because again, people struggle with these things because these things all clog the back of our mind, right? If you're trying to figure out, just to go back to business and stuff, and people are trying to figure out their SaaS journey and stuff like that. If this is all clogging up the back of your mind because you've had an argument with your wife, or you fight with your kids, or there's something going on with your kids, and your kids are not telling you because your kids are not communicating well with you, all that's going on at the back of your mind, and that's all noise, right? And it's definitely bad noise that you need to resolve, because whether you consciously realize it or not, that's interfering with your ability to move forward, right, in your business, right? It definitely will affect you in different ways. So having that ability to have that honest, open conversation, to have your kids talk to you, be able to talk to your wife, and remove those burdens out of your brain is really important. And I know that from a lot of the successful people that I talk to, is that their ability to actually communicate and get those things out is very important for them. And I find it, I mean, through my journey of life, I would call it, coming from, you know, not having parents that were together, really not really having any relationship role models to go on, and figuring that stuff out. I was not communicative well in my, I mean, I'm a bloke, right? We're not really that good at communicating our feelings with our partners. A lot of the time we bottle it up and then suddenly it kind of come out. I've got way better over that over the years. I'm like, way better. Still working on it. My wife probably said I'm still terrible, but still working on it. But the more you do it, the easier it actually gets, and then the better the relationship gets. And it's like me and my wife, I mean, we started as, you know, just dating as a couple of backpackers in Bondi. But I mean, we're family now. That's it. It's just like, look, we've been together for 23 years or whatever it is. Like, we're family. Like, this is it. Like, what do you, like, we can hate each other one day, but, you know, it might take a couple of days to get over that and kind of bring that back together again or whatever, because we've been arguing about something, but like, we're family. We are here for each other, you know, and that's what we try and teach to our son Finn as well, because it isn't perfect. That's why I was saying, like, to work on it as a family, because sometimes there are problems, there are disagreements and whatever. And even sometimes our son, he goes, what's going on with you guys? Are you fine? Are you arguing? Because we'll be having a discussion. Like, you know, there's those discussions. There want to be fights, but there's still a discussion. And they'll kind of walk through the kitchen and go, what's going on with you two? Are you fine? We go, no, mate, we're working something out. We're disagreeing a lot at the moment.
Yes.
But we're figuring it out, mate, because we're family, all right? And that's how we try and approach it, because
that's what it is.
Yeah, it's what it is.
Just what life is. Yeah, it would be terribly boring if everything was just agreed upon all the time.
It would be awful. I couldn't imagine being married to the female equivalent of myself, because I wouldn't learn anything. Like, I learned so much from my wife, even though it's annoying.
I quite like, what's his name? Jordan Peterson. I quite like listening to his podcast, especially maybe a few years ago. Less kind of keen on him these days. What was I going to say? He was talking about basically relationships. And if you don't argue, then there's something wrong with the relationship. Like, a good relationship, you have to be able to argue, because you need to have an opinion. You need to have something which you stand behind as a value. Like, if you're never arguing, it's impossible that you have the same values and everything. It's an impossibility, because we all have different experiences, different things that we've learned, different biases, different personality traits. It's impossible to agree on everything. So if everything is agreeable, then that means one person is having to bend their values and beliefs to fit the other person all the time. And that is not a good place to build a happy, long-term, fulfilling relationship for two people. One person might be fine.
Commonly known as a doormat, people, isn't it, in the relationship?
Well, yeah, this is it, isn't it? So, you know, it does always make me laugh when, to kind of go on a slight tangent, the whole men-women thing, and quite often women feel that they don't have the same rights or same access to things maybe as men sometimes. I think, you haven't met my wife, I mean... she's as strong as they go. You know, but yeah, it's all fun and games. All fun and games.
And like your kids as well, like you mentioned, they're young children, they're dabbling into their first relationships as well. It's really nice that they talk to you about that too. Do you have good communication, like always have that communication with your kids, so you feel hope that they will tell you anything that's going on with them, if they've ever got like good things and bad things?
Yeah, we discussed that quite a lot, the wife and I, where we're like, I hope they feel that they can tell us things, but at the same time, I don't want them to tell me everything. You know, I think my wife wants them to tell her everything, every bit of detail. I'm like, no, they should have secrets. There should be some things that they want to hide. You know, I don't tell my mum and dad everything that I ever did. And that's kind of a part of what happens, really. But I would love to feel that they feel that they can come to us to celebrate things that they've done and they're really proud of. And I'd love to think they can come to us during periods of crisis where they need help and assurance or reassurance or whatever. And that's it. And I think we do that really well. Well, I mean, I don't want to speak on behalf of my wife. She's not here. I know she does it. I can't say for certain how she does it because I'm not always there in those private moments. But, I can certainly speak for myself where I say, like, that's really important to me. It's just those 2-3 minute conversations. It's a car drive, where it's, and it's knowing people, isn't it? Like, it always used to drive me mad. My mum and dad, they can still do it now. They know when something's wrong, even before I know something's wrong. We just know you, Danny. We just know you. And it used to annoy me. But you do. You just know. You can just sense it in your kids, can't you? Like, not quite told the truth there, but okay, I'm not going to push it. You'll speak when you want to. Just, you sure you're okay, mate? It's that. It's sometimes you've got to ask twice, right? To make sure. But that's true of everyone, really, I suppose. But yeah.
That is a thing. That's something we definitely hope is that, celebrate those times, but also come to you in that time of crisis that you should be as a parent, hopefully that safe space for them to land, and making sure that through their young years that you are that safe space for them, no matter what it is. And I see this with parents. Like we had a very long journey to have our son. Like, we went through years of natural trying and then 5 years of IVF. So we had like 10 years basically before we actually had our son. So I had a lot of time to, I guess, observe other parenting styles from friends of ours that had kids. And I could see some that I was like, you guys are doing what I would consider an amazing job. You have great relationships. And I saw other ones where it was just like, man, what's going on? Like, you'd see kids that are upset about something. And I always saw this as such a opportunity for parents to connect with their kids that they missed, where if your kid has had an accident or something's happened, whatever it is that's like trivial, basically, where their teddy fell over and it's got dirt on it, right? Trivial, but they are destroyed because that is the most important thing in the world to them. And I've seen parents in a situation like that where they just go, yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it. And they literally just brush them off. They might be doing something else or whatever it is, but they just ignore that kid. And that is a time of crisis for that child where they've been ignored. And it seems like a silly thing, because it is a silly thing, but that's the point and the time that I see as your younger kids or, preteen kids, or whatever it might be, is the time to go, oh, what is it, mate? What's going on? Oh, it's Teddy. All right, cool. Let's clean him off. There you go. Now we're okay. On your way. You're happy again. Because if you can't do those, like, that is a crisis. You've got to get them secure in that crisis moment now. Because when they do have a real crisis, when they're 18 and they're out at a bar somewhere and they're drunk and they can't get home, like, no, I've got to call you then, because it's like, well, that doesn't care. Like, they ignored me when they'll have crises. They're not going to help me out, whatever it might be. Take the crises that they've got and be there for them through that whole life cycle. And then hopefully, I'm not there yet, like I said, I've got years to go. Hopefully he doesn't have too many crises anyway in the future of that degree, but he will feel comfortable. Oh yeah, because Dad will listen to me. Dad will help me out when I have a crisis, because I do that for him now. So that's something that I really hope that we navigate well into that future. And Matt put this beautifully, Matt DeCina, when I was talking to him the other day. He has a little goal, which is basically around his kids. It says that his kids will want to be there with them when they don't have to be there with them. And I was like, that's so nice. Because there's going to be a point, at some point, when they go off and they're older and they go to uni or start their own jobs or whatever it might be, and they don't need to come home anymore because they've got money and stuff now. But hopefully they'll still want to come back and hang out with you, because it's nice to come and chat to mum and dad. I think that would be a great goal.
I totally agree with that. Yeah. That's hard thing is that's in 30 years time. You don't know. That's a long game.
As long as you don't think they're moving out for 30 years, your kids are home for a long time.
Yeah, who knows really? But it's the one thing that this is to kind of bring it back, I suppose, to the SaaS dad conversation is it was probably 2-ish years ago. I became suddenly so aware that the kids were getting older, so aware. And a little bit it was to do with, because I coached my son's football team, and kind of like that under 9 level, and I was saving the kits, the shirts from every season, and I thought it won't be long until we're at that under 16 season, end of season presentation. I'm going to get out every shirt and I'm going to bawl like a baby, because this is going to break my heart when we have to give that up. And I thought, that's going to become real soon. And I just thought to myself, I have to create a lifestyle and a business that allows the lifestyle, so I can go as all in on my kids while still maintaining the business, while still making enough money, while still trying to be a half decent human being, and still trying to be a decent husband, but allows me to just go all in on them. And I don't know what it was. I became so aware of that. And I think a little bit was in the early days, I said, until we had the 30s, when it really started to figure it out. In those early days, I chose work because I justified it as making a sacrifice to a greater good in the future. And maybe that was true. I don't know. Maybe I could have navigated that a different way. It's impossible, right? We can't regret things. But little things like, for example, the GHL Summit in Dallas. It's when it's my son's birthday. Not a chance ever will I ever go to a GHL Summit in Dallas, because it's when my son's birthday is. I would refuse to go there. I don't care how much money they would pay me to go and speak. I don't care how much money I could earn from doing it. Never, ever, 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 ever are you going to see me there. Every other event, sure, happy to go to it. I'll travel to it, as long as it doesn't conflict with a birthday. And it's little things like that you, time is when you start to realize it. And when your kids are young, you're so in it, it feels like it's never going to stop. And then you start to realize, because you think, well, I've got loads of time until they're 18. They might not leave the house until they're 21, 23, 25 these days anyway, because it's a nightmare. You start to lose your kids when they're about 14, is the reality of it. Because they start to focus more on their friends, as they should, because they've got to start figuring things out for themselves. So you get a lot less time than you realize. There's a body in the house, but they're not around you. There's a person that you feed. You see him come down, you see him open the fridge, you see him get food and disappear back. You still get those moments, of course, but it's not like how it is, which is kind of like your kids are just there all the time with you, whatever. So I would say as a dad of a 7-year-old, which you are now, like, if you're not aware of that already, like, get aware of it real soon, and like cherish those moments, because they so quickly go. They so quickly go. And, we was talking about it, not too long ago, wife and I, like, the next baby in our household will be a grandchild, which is really crazy, but then actually might only be like 10ish years away. It might not be that far, you don't know really. So, life is a funny old thing, but, I think there's not many people on their deathbed that will go, I wish I had an extra 10 people in my SaaS.
Yep.
But there's plenty of people that will say, I wish I had missed my son's birthday. I wish I had missed out on that. I wish I'd have coached the football team. I wish I'd, when it's to do with the kids and the family. So I would say, if you're ever in doubt, you probably know deep down what you should be doing. And we can sometimes argue it as making sacrifice, but the way that the world is now, there are so many ways that we can build our business. There are so many different time zones that we can sell and speak to. Like, there's a way for you to figure out that you can build a business, especially SaaS with recurring income, right? It's really sticky. It's a utility for businesses. Doesn't take many clients to actually have a pretty nice little steady income, plus a bit of extra work, agency, bit of done for you, diversify the portfolio, where you can create a nice lifestyle for yourself, for your kids. And use SaaS to allow yourself to be the dad that you would always want to be, or who you wanted your dad to be. Maybe if your dad doesn't give you the role, the kind of love that you wanted, maybe use SaaS, leverage that, to give the time and the mental headspace to go all in on that. Because that's without a doubt the most rewarding thing you'll ever do.
Mate, well, I think that is a beautiful thing to wrap this up on, mate. I think you just put that together perfectly at the end, mate. Honestly. So good. Could you just let everybody know where can they connect with Danny Clarke? Where can they find you? We'll make sure that we put some links to all of this everywhere, because I can't think of a better way to wrap it up than what you have actually just said there, mate. I think that was perfect. Thank you so much.
I would say come find me on Facebook. That's where I spend all day, every day. I'm old school. I'm a millennial. All these other platforms, I dabble on them, but it'll be Facebook all day.
Me too, mate. All right. Well, we'll put the link to your faces or something wherever this video is, somewhere up, down, below, left, right, wherever it is, mate. Look, thank you so much for coming on today, mate. I really appreciate your time and taking that time out of your 4-hour day. So you've given me 25% of your day, mate, and I really appreciate
25% of my day, Gary. That's how much this means to me,
mate. Thank you so much, Danny, and hopefully people will get a lot from this as well, mate. Thanks so much.
Thanks, mate.